stuff. If you're worried about something, you write it down and you put it in his mouth. And the worry disappears. Mostly when I'm in the hospital.
Cara's daily routine is pretty grueling for somebody that age.
It's my daily schedule of what I do during the day with my meds. First thing I do, I change my dressing and my button, so I put a fresh plaster on. And then the next thing I do is me low sec. I put it into a syringe and I connect it to my button, and it stops the acid hurting my stomach.
Well, Cara has cystic fibrosis, and there are a few different strains and different gene mutations. I don't fully understand about the genetic side of it, but she has a gene. It's double delta F508, and that's the particular type that she has.
Next thing I do is muco clear in the neb, and that just gets the froggies up before physio. And then the next thing I do is me physio, and I just blow into the little pet mask and cough up froggies. The last thing I do is me colmicin. That's the most important one. I think it's an antibiotic, so it kills the froggies. It helps them to go away. And that's in the neb as well. That's it.
Cystic fibrosis affects predominantly her respiratory system, so her lungs. So basically, it's one faulty gene in the body that produces this extra thick mucus, and as a result of that, the mucus forms around the lungs. It's the ideal place for bacteria, for bugs. So that's how the CF patients constantly have coughs and chest infections, pneumonia, lung collapses, all those things. And then this production of the thick mucus also affects the digestive system. So CF patients aren't able to absorb fat, and they need to take special enzymes to help them with that. So it's the two main areas that CF targets are the lungs and the digestive system. So their weight and their height and that is impacted. Cara has one sister, Maren. She's 19, and thankfully she doesn't have CF. I knew from when she was very small that there was something wrong, because she was this tiny baby that was coughing a lot, and she was quite small, I suppose, for her age, and she just seemed to be sick all the time. So I knew that there was something, I just didn't know what. But she was 2.5 when they actually did the sweat test in the hospital and diagnosed CF. Doesn't really sink in, and then I suppose when it does sink in and you realise there's all the other, I suppose, emotions of fear, anger, why did this happen, why us, denial. Orkambi, I suppose it was the first real glimmer of hope. There's been a couple of medications over the last few years. One a few years ago that was for a rarer form of CF, and when I heard that they had something for that, you're kind of thinking, well, if they can come up with something for the most rare, type of CF, well then there is hope. So when we heard about Orkambi, it was just like this huge wave of positivity for the first time in so many years.
When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Orkambi! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Orkambi! When do we want it?
Orkambi equals life. Orkambi equals hope.
A year ago, Vertex came to this country with Orkambi, and we are standing here now outside our government shouting, saying, what do we want, when do we want it? We want a conversation to have happened already. I urge Enda Kenny and his government, I urge Simon Harris and the HSE to stop playing with my son's life, stop playing with all of your lives. You are not going to put a price on my son's life, or on Gillian's life, or on anybody's life that we see on these posters today. It is not good enough.
And then very quickly afterwards to realise, oh, guess what, surprise, surprise, we're not going to be able to access it, you know, because it's too expensive. And so straight away among the CF community, like, just anger, disbelief, all of those emotions. But the Orkambi itself, hearing about it, was just such a hopeful thing, you know, that this is a medication that's actually going to tackle the base cause of cystic fibrosis, you know. The doctor said that she was going to apply for it on compassionate grounds. Compassionate grounds mean that it's basically where the patient is at a stage where their illness is deteriorating to the extent that unless they get this drug, you know, that they're only going to get seriously, gravely ill.
I miss a lot of school because of this, yeah. Few months, because I'd be in the hospital or sick at home. I had to drop a few subjects.
So like last year, Cara would have been in the hospital for her birthday. She turned 13. I was in work that day, still went over with a cake and stuff, but we just all really felt bad because she's in for her birthday, and you know, so this year we just said, look, myself and our sister and that, we said we're gonna just throw her a little party in the house here. I know it's not like 13 is a big birthday, but still just to make up for the fact that last year she missed out, basically.
I had a cough, like, if I was on the bus or something, like, someone would just be like to me, oh, that's a terrible cough you have. I'd be like, I know.
Last year, me and Alex, we volunteered like to do fundraising, selling the pins and the trolley tokens and all stuff like that. And the amount of people that just walk by and they're like, what's this? And they haven't a clue what you're even standing there for, like. But everyone automatically knows straight away, like, the daffodil, that's for something. But you wouldn't really know if you saw someone walk around with a purple rose on their coat or on the kid's buggy or something. You wouldn't really know what it was for, like. There's no the symbol of it really still isn't out there.
I find people don't know a lot about CF, and people who know us as a family and ask about her, they'll say to me, oh, I know the weather's getting better. And it has no, and they look at you and you say, it really has nothing to do with the rain, the wind, the cold. They don't get it. And how could they? You have to live with somebody and know somebody who has it to know.
When she actually phoned me to tell me that it had been approved, it's like winning the lottery. It's just disbelief. You can't believe that your child has been given this opportunity to get this life-changing medication. Cara was in hospital, and I remember walking over and going into the room and really casually Cara saying, oh, the pharmacist dropped down that tablet. And I'm like, what? The pharmacist dropped down in the wardrobe, and I opened this bag and there's boxes of Orkambi, like €40,000 worth of this drug, and I'm just like,
I just couldn't talk for a while. I was taking photographs of it and saying, Cara, here, hold the box and let me take a photograph of you with the box, and we'll never forget this day.
When Cara started Orkambi, she got 12 weeks out of hospital, which is the longest time, and I actually can't even remember. That's how many years it would be. So to be like 12 consecutive weeks out of hospital was just huge for all of us. Like, it was 3 months. It felt like such a break for her and for me and for everybody, that she just wasn't near the place except once for clinic appointments. So for me, that was the biggest indicator that Orkambi does work. At the moment, there is no cure for cystic fibrosis. As I said, it's one faulty gene in the body, and they don't seem to be able to stop the body from producing this one faulty gene when both parents are carriers. But they are doing gene therapy all the time. There's so much research going on behind the scenes, and if they've come up with something as amazing as Orkambi, which does actually target the faulty gene, I'd like to think it's only a matter of time before they do come up with something.